Hi everyone, I'm grade 12, so I'm here for explaining new video for grade 12. I say hi again and again for the senior students all over the world about grade 12. IELTS writing, academic writing, task 1. What is IELTS academic writing task 1? All features, all techniques, examples. Be with me to the end of the video. Let's go to see what is IELTS Academic Writing Task 1. IELTS Academic Writing Task 1 is one question before a diagram, a graph. And you have only just 20 minutes to wrap up all the task, to finish, to end all the task. 20 minutes as a time to write 150 words till 180 words. Writing task 1, academic writing task 1, is not hard if you just get the access, the techniques of how to answer, know what to answer, just information, how to answer, the techniques, strategies, and everything here in the video. So let's start. What is IELTS writing task 1 and what are the techniques with examples and how to answer? Let's start sharing the PowerPoint with you. Task 1, IELTS writing task 1. What are the diagrams, graphs I have to see in most of IELTS writing academic writing task 1? You have to know the names of the graphs. So I have paragraph, not paragraph, graph. The graph is like columns. And pie chart is, like circles. Then table is just information data inside the table columns. And line graph. Line graph is a shape of one line graph describing one point, one value, one topic, for example, during times, or double line graphs, or triple line graphs, 3 line graphs, or 2 line graphs, or line, only one line. And this is a chart of line graph. These are the most well-known questions or shapes inside IELTS academic writing task 1. You have to know the names because we'll use it inside the answer. Let's go to the question itself. Okay, we have a question here from 2018 IELTS exam, real exam 2018. So let's see. The graph below shows the number of inquiries received to this information office in one city over a 6-month period in 2011. Summarize. Now this is the question. So we have a phrase, a sentence of the question statement. Then we have a question itself. Summarize the information. Always summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. This is the style, the type of the question always in IELTS academic writing task 1. And we have here, what kind of this graph? This is just triple line graph. Triple line graph means 3 line graph, 3 lines in one graph. Okay. First point, you have to know that you have only 20 minutes. So how can you do? Divide the time. 5 minutes to read the question, to understand the meaning or the question content, and understand and analyze the graph. Only 5 minutes. Preparing the ideas or how to start with the plan I will show you later. Then you have only 15 minutes to type or write handwriting, and I don't like a paper test. Typing is better because I have a counter for the words. When I write one word, it's 1, 2 words, it's 2, and so on down. So computer test is better, as I told you before in the last video. Let's go to the shape now in front of you. Analyze. How could you analyze? You have to read keywords. On the right, we have in person with blue and red by letter or email, then with green by telephone. And I have down here Jan, Feb, February, March, April, May, June. So 6 months. And I have from 0 to 2000 number of inquiries for each way of inquiries. Person, or by letter or email or by telephone. Now we have read the instructions. Okay, so what can we do next? Understand the 2 points, the lowest point and the highest point, or points. What we call trend. To be a trend on YouTube, that means 1 million views and more. So trend here, a highest point or a lowest point. So trends are important. Points that made or make trend. So it's important for you, essential to know before you start the answer. Let's go how to answer. Okay. A line graph, you have to look at the line graph carefully and decide what the most important information and striking features are. I told you information previous was first point was about the highest point and the second point or the lowest point, and also about the 3 ways for inquiries: in person, telephone, or email, and by telephone, by letter or email, or by telephone. You have to write a well-organized overview. They want you to write a report. A report means overview. It's like a say, but without a conclusion. So take care of this point. Include data to support the key points. Use academic register or style. Academic style means vivid vocabs. Write at least 150 words. Complete the task in about 20 minutes, 5 minutes before you start writing or reading and understanding the diagrams and so on. Then include only the key points. Then don't do any calculations because you can do a mistake. Don't say that when we divide this number by this one, so the answer is, don't do any calculations, or don't give your opinion. Don't give your opinion. There's no opinion here. Don't say in my opinion or I think. No, we are talking about facts in front of you and no conclusion, as I told you for the essay. Let's go to the question again. As you can see, the graph below shows the number of inquiries received by the Tourist Information Office in one city over a 6-month period in 2011. 1 point. The time in the question is important because you will start answering, commence your answer, launch your answers using the tense, past tense or past tenses, simple past, past perfect. If you have a time in the past, like here, 11, and we are now in 2021, so you can use simple past and also past perfect. If we are talking about these days, so that means like COVID-19, for example, you're talking about the present simple or present continuous or progressive one. So, or you can talk about something in the future if you have just a time phrase related to the future, like 2050 or by 2050, for example. So you're talking about future. So time phrase or the time inside the question is important to choose what type of tense you use in your answer. Let's go. First step, look carefully at the information in the line graph. Don't rush through this step, but just make sure you understand the graph before you start to write. You have to understand which line is highest and lowest one and why. Maybe we have some reasons here and so on. Underline important words in the question. If I go back to the question, I have here the graph. So what is the name of the graph? We have 4. It's a pie chart. Is it a pie chart? No. So is it a line graph? Yes. So instead of saying the graph, you would say the line graph. Name it. Okay. Below shows, instead of using the verb shows, you use another verb, provides, and so on. We'll see that. Underline the important words in the question and circle important points in the graph. Also, identify what key information inside about the from 0 to 2000 in the question. Also about month, time, Jan or February, and so on. Number 4, plan your writing. Divide your answers into 3 paragraphs. Introduction, first main paragraph, second main paragraph. So introduction and no conclusion. Introduction, first main paragraph, second main paragraph. I mean, introduction, genre, for the whole type, for the whole shape, for the whole graph, for the whole line graph. First paragraph maybe for the highest. Second paragraph is 1 if you have more than 1. You see that. Now we have the question here. I have 3 lines, triple line graph. So what can I do is I have a comparison. And I have to select one by one. Maybe I want to talk about each one alone. So I have 3 paragraphs if I have 3 lines. Or I can make a comparison between the 2 in front of you. You can see here 2 highest top points. One is 1600. Another is more than 1800. So I have 2 highest points. So I can do 1 paragraph with a comparison and only 1 paragraph for the last point. So I have 2 paragraphs. It's up to you what to do, but no conclusion. If the line graph has more than 2 lines, 3 lines, as I told you, triple lines, try to arrange the data into 2 or 3 groups. Paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3. It's up to you. You could divide the data into rising trends and falling trends and so on. Look carefully at the time frame that the graph covers. Time frame from Jan to June, not July. So a number of month is 6 months. And begin with introductory sentence. We have a rule how to introduce a first sentence, or what we call topic sentence here, or introductory paragraph. Then describe 1 or 2 genre trends in genre, 1 or 2, not in details. Then you can go in details 1 paragraph and another paragraph in details for the highest, then the lowest. So you can do 4 paragraphs, introduction paragraph, then overall paragraph, or what we call review paragraph, I mean genre, for 1 point or 2 in genre. Then choose to write 3rd paragraph is in details about the highest points, 4th paragraph about the lowest points. So that's perfect. I like it. I have here 3 lines. That means I can arrange them into 2 paragraphs with overview paragraph and the introduction first. Focus on the general direction of the trend. Where is it going? And don't try to write about all the data in the line graph, not specific, because some details are useless and no, and just extra. Remember, don't try to analyze or extrapolate the information in the graph. Don't say because and it's rising because some reasons I think it's no. Don't try to analyze or do any calculations. Just describe or report it as factual points. Keep track of the time. Take care of the time. Don't spend more than 20 minutes for task 1. That's impressive, tremendous, fabulous part on this video. Please be with me now. Names of the graphs. Again, the shapes of your question will be one of the fourth in front of you. Graph or pie chart or table or line graph. Let's go to the question again. The graph below shows, okay, this is the question statement. Then the question is summarize and report, selecting and reporting the main ideas or features and make comparisons. So let's go to how the plan, how to deal with the question. IELTS Writing Task 1 structure. Introduction. Take the statement of the question, paraphrase it, and I will show you how to do that. Then paragraph overview. Write a general overview of the main features. Choose one of the points clear for you to do as a general. So talk about that, maybe 3 lines or 2 lines. Body paragraph 1 about details about feature 1 in a logical way, maybe the highest points. Then body paragraph 2 writes about the lowest points. So this is now what to do. No conclusion is needed, as I told you. So let's go again to the same question and start introduction. Okay, statement of the question is, the graph below shows the number of inquiries received by the Tourist Information Office in one city over a 6-month period in 2011. Now this is question statement. How to change it to the same meaning, but paraphrase. Excellent. We will talk about high level of answers. Okay, so graph. The name of the graph is line graph. So instead of saying the graph below, we'll say the line graph. Okay, this line graph is shown here, presented here. Yes. So we'll say the presented line graph, the shown line graph, the illustrated line graph. So this is number 1, title. And I have here a verb shows, change. Use another one. Use presents, provides, indicates, illustrates, so another verb. The number of inquiries, try to make inquiries, okay? Inquiries number. Received by Tourist Information Office, Tourist Information Office, had received. So just some change. In one city over a 6-month period, you can say in the first half of the year of 2011. First half of the year means first 6 months without saying a 6 month. So paraphrase. Then you can say one amazing point. Amazing point. What is it? 2011, and now we are what? 2021. That means how many years now? 10 years. Perfect. So you can say since 10 years or 10 years ago without saying 2011, without mentioning. That's perfect. So this is paraphrase how to do. Let's see the book. Again, introduction, paraphrase question, the presented line graph, or the presented or the given pie chart, or the given table, or one of the 4 charts, as I told you before, or the given line graph or bar graph, shows or presents or illustrates or gives or indicates or compares, always present simple because you can see it in front of you now, or provides. Provides what? Provides information. Maybe provides numbers. Maybe provides facts, and so on. So what kind of points in front of you? Information, numbers, facts. So it provides it. About what? About number of inquiries here in our question. Or about, for example, population number, if you have a question about population number, and so on. Or in, you can say in a place where, if you have a mentioning for the city names in New York, for example, so you say in New York, or without a name, in a city, from to. We have only one date, one number, one time, 2011. So we'll not say here from to. Yes? So you will say from perfect, January to, yes, June, January to June in 2011. Or as I told you, a high level standard of answers will say 10 years ago, means when it was 2011. Okay, through 10 years. Through 10 years, now this is not a calculation, but it's important in the introduction to mention. That's perfect. Now, what's again? So I give you now a summary for introduction. You will say the diagram one by one here. The diagram shows, or the diagram presents, represents, or indicates, or denotes, or outlines, or the given diagram, the given table, the given graph, or line graph, or illustrations, or the supply table, or presented table, or provided map, denotes, illustrates, outlines. Perfect to start if you use that. Next, now we go back to the question. We finish now, wrap up introduction. So what is next? Overview. Perfect. Overview means talk about one point as a genre or some genre, points information inside the graph, line graph here. How could you do the second after introduction? You have to understand, to analyze in the 5 minutes first before the 20 minutes, you have to analyze the line graph, the shape. The graph in front of you now with units, for example, from years, and we have units from 2 to 10, and we have 2008 till 2016. So we have here from 2. I mean that we in 2010 and 2014, we have from 2, for example, and the red line here. So you have to understand the points. And how to describe? Look at now the description. Okay, the line is going down. Means decline, decrease, not down, drop. So you can say it decreased from 10 to 4. Or you can say there was a drop of 6 units, because from 10 to 4, 6 units. Excellent answer. This is for high standard and high score. Or it dropped by 6 units. A very effective answer. Dropped by plus a unit, 6 units. Or a decrease in the number of the we in 2010 and 2014, or from 2010 to 2014 is so and so, or was so and so. If I have a graph like that, second one down, I don't have only one line from up to down. No, I have just like a curve. So what can we do? We have a highest point, what we call, take care of this word, peak, okay, the highest point. If I have something steady, so it's stable, remain stable. Let's say it started at 4 units. Yes, okay, we started at. It peaked at, it goes up now. It increased, okay? So it peaked at 10 units from 4. Okay, then going down to lowest point. It dropped by 8 units, or to its lowest point at 2 units at the end. Then it increased to 6 points, then steady, stable. So we'll say it remained stable between 2010 and 2012. It finished at 6 units in 2012. This is how to describe line. Writing task 1 is a description task. Take care. Adverbs. Adverbs, the word that describe a verb. Words describe a verb. We call the word describes a verb adverb. Adverb. The adverb here, like when I say increase, okay, increase slow or rapidly, or sharply increased, or steeply, or considerably, yes, between, or significantly, or substantially, or steadily. It's not. It's like a flat, or gradually, a more significant increasing, or moderately, or slightly, just from 2 to 2.1, only just 0.1 as increased, so it's slightly increased, or slowly. You can use one of the words, the adverb before the verb. It sharply increased, it slowly increased, and so on, or rise, or jump, or go. Okay, what about the down? You can say the same. It sharply fall, or fall, drops, falls. It rapidly declines, or declined if it was in the past. It slowly goes down, or went down if it's past, and so on. If it's stay constant, remain steady, maintain stable, you will not use for this. The stability, you will not use adverb. You will use just a word constant, steady, stable. Perfect. Let's go to a new question. You should spend about 20 minutes on this task. The graph below shows the different modes of transport used to travel to and from work in one European city in 1950, 1970, and 1990. Only in the 3 years, not between the 3 years. So only 3 years, 3 times of the year. So let's, and this is now in front of you. We have bus, for example, and we have car, well, we have bike, and we have on foot. So what can we do here? We have to understand 5 minutes before 20, 5 from the 20 minutes you have to read, understand, analyze, and start the introduction again. The graph, what type of the graph? Yes, bar graph. It's not line graph. So you will say the bar graph. You will use one before the given bar graph, the presented bar graph, the illustrated bar graph, and so on. So we have a verb here, shows. So instead of shows, presented. Presents, shows. We can say gives, illustrates, indicates, and so on. And you have to understand about what? About the travel, transport. In for transportation means like bus, car, bike, and on foot. When? About the 3 times of the year. That's it. And about travelers, total of travelers, percentage. So we have 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%, till 40%. Let's go. This is the question now. After question statement, this is a question. Write a report for a university lecturer describing the information shown. You should write at least 150 words. Let's go. The role of the writing, the plan is introduction, overview, body paragraph 1 about the highest, body paragraph 2 about the lowest. So no conclusion. Let's go again. Now again, in the diagram is bar graph. So we'll say what? The question is here with a red line on the right, the graph below shows. So we'll say the given graph. And instead of graph, you'll say what? Bar graph. Yes, perfect. Thank you. So the given bar graph represents. Okay, and instead of saying shows, I said presents or represents the percentage of. You see here different modes of. When I said percentage, because one of the lines here about the left in the diagram was about 5%, 10%, 15%, till 40%. So I say percentage of instead of saying travelers. I mentioned this one now here. It's here in the question on the right. Transport. Travelers in a European city without a name. Who used, because travelers who used bus, car, bike, and foot to commute and from work in the years of 1950, 1970, and 1990. Again, the introduction plan, the plan again of writing, introduction, overview, then Body paragraph 1 about the highest, body paragraph 2 about the lowest, or you can mention each bus paragraph, car paragraph, bike paragraph, on fourth paragraph. So that's perfect if you want to do that in details. Let's go. The graph indicates we wrapped up, we finished the introduction. Now a whole paragraph, a general paragraph, overview, second one. So I would choose one that generalized in the graph. So the paragraph indicates another verb. I said represents. So second indicates the growing use of cars, because I saw cars now. If you saw cars, you would see growing cars. So look at cars here, you see increasing in cars. The growing in cars, the growing for commuting, and the corresponding fall in the popularity of other modes of transport since 1950. So this is a generalize. Again, it's a comparison in general without mention details for car, because it's a highest point, with others from 1950 to the end of 1990. And yes, you can see that in general. So this is review or overview for the whole paragraph. Second one. Now we're talking about, as I told you, you can talk about highest point and lowest point with a comparison, or you can talk about each one of the transport alone. Let's see again and again and again. The plan is introduction, then overview, then body paragraph 1, then body paragraph 2 if you want. What I want to just concentrate here and show you is about using, linking words to change the sentence from simple to compound to complex. The highest score students will get a highest score because they use complex sentences, not compound or simple. Complex with compound is better than only simple sentences. So you can use but, however, although. For a qualifying contrast, you can use whereas instead of, alternatively, otherwise. In something of compare, you can use similarly, likewise, and so on, like, or equally, or add and but, so, and so on. Let's go again. What now? Paragraph 1 about what? One of the transport. Yes, cars. The amount of people. Take care. In cars, first, second one, after the introduction, I was talking in general. Now here, a specific with numbers and facts from the graph. The amount of people using cars grew in the past. Why? Because I said 2011. Sorry, in 1950, so it's past. Probably. Yes, because it's not that one more. So rising from just over 5% in 1952, 25%. It's considerably, yes, but it is not sharply in 1970, and then climbing again to almost 5% by 1990. You can say here sharply because it's at the top of the percentage. Okay, paragraph next is about bike. However, because I have here a highest point was car, so now second point, it's not highest, so it's a comparison, so I can say use, as I told you. However, contrast. The amount of people using bikes decreased in the past, simple. Over 20% from the graph, I got the percentage of commuters cycled in 1950, but this had fallen past perfect to less than 10% by 1990 from the graph. Similarly, now I have similarity. The amount of people who walked to work fell past, not fell, from more than a third. This is for high school. You got this one from calculations. You did it as a third in 1950 to about 10% in 1990. That's perfect. Let's go to another. We talk about buses. So the amount of people using buses initially, look at the adverbs differentiation, rose in the past, not rise in 1970 to about 30% from the graph facts, but had dropped to about 17% by 1990. Again, You can divide your chart into paragraphs about each one, and you can combine both with other difference, for example, to make a comparison. So paragraph for highest, paragraph for lowest, or to in details. It's up to you.